One of the biggest, more recent additions to the Anime Fighters came after or actually during the comeback update, and it's basically locked behind a paywall. It's received, I believe, a lot of controversy because of this, and I mean, it's absolutely terrible that it's, completely, basically unaccessible for the free-to-play players, even some pay-to-win players. If you don't know what I'm referring to, I'm talking about avatars. Now, avatars, they're actually fairly decent. I'm using one right now. Raizo, you level him up, he's pretty freaking good for, the Infinity Tower and all that. But getting them, that's a whole other story. I mean, sure, if you're pay to win and you have, everything maxed out, a full lucky team, bunch of luck boosts, and you have, all night to spin, you might pull one or two. But if you're a free-to-play player, you cannot get a single one, most likely. I mean, even most pay-to-win players don't have a divine from what I've seen. It's absolutely terrible that the average player can't access such a big feature of this game. And that locks even more of some of the, later on stuff just completely behind the paywall as well. Like, I believe a main reason to do the Infinity Tower is for the avatar level up stuff. I mean, avatar level up stuff is useless if you don't have an avatar, if you can't get an avatar. Um, you can't get major boosts like other people can. I mean, I have a 3 times drop boost just with my Raizo alone, which I know that's not insane, but just having that helps so much. And with the buffed Infinity Tower, I mean, it's incredible to have. Now, does that increase the drops of, like, auto attack? Probably not. Sadly. I wish. Sadly, I'm too poor to afford it. But trust me, I would definitely buy it. I mean, it's worth it. Not trying to plug. Back to the main point. The avatars are completely locked behind a paywall, basically. You have to have at least one luck game pass to get a divine, let's be real. And then, you know, for okay, even if you have the one luck game pass, if you don't have a large inventory, it's still gonna take too long, too much time, way more time than the average pay-to-win player would take to get a divine. But then you have to account for the factor that the average pay-to-win player is not going to pull 4 divines in a night, and so they can't get, they can't waste one of those divines that they pulled, that they worked so hard for, on an avatar. That's not going to help them that much when you first start out with the avatars. Like, when they were first started, they weren't all that great. I mean, sure, if you got Rian, you get a luck and time boost, but you can't level her up, you can't do anything with her. She's not amazing. I mean, now, even with a little bit of level ups, mine's only at plus 1.1 luck and 0.61x time. I mean, 0.61x. Yeah, that's what it is. It's, it's tragic that these, great buffs, they're not great, actually. Let's be real. They're locked behind a divine and 5 avatar coins, which you have to, grind either Infinity Tower, or I believe you can get them in raids, but they're not a high chance to drop in raids. Now, I mean, they're not too hard to get if you do Infinity Tower. I have 20 right now. That's enough for 4. If you can get 4 different divines, which that's a whole nother story. I mean, I got lucky when pulling 4 divines in one night. Every other night I've only pulled 1 or 2, maybe. Heck, last night I didn't pull a single one. shows you how much free to play. I mean, how much paying for every Game Pass except for one helps, and the one that I haven't paid for is. Actually, I haven't paid for either of the Vault ones, but that's not important. The only one I haven't paid for is Auto Attack, and I mean that's not going to increase my chances of getting a Divine. Now, I do want to say that the Infinity Tower definitely does change the way the game is going to be played compared to, how Avatars. Avatars was a big addition, don't get me wrong, but it was executed so poorly because of the fact that it's locked behind Divines, and Divines are so difficult to get, which is why they're Divines. But the Infinity Tower, I think it changes that a lot. It doesn't make Divines easier to get, but it allows other players that don't have, full Draconic teams to actually get some worth out of, drop events. Because one treasure room in Infinity Tower, I believe, is worth one dungeon. And that's absolutely incredible. I mean, see the stuff I have, that's all from this. Basically, all my fragments are from this Infinity Tower. I'm not even gonna lie there. I know as a fact those 18 purple ones are from it, and that's absolutely incredible. Now I've only pulled like 10 blue. I can tell you that easily. Sadly, I've pulled probably like 20 green so far, just from 36 floors. Now, what would be truly incredible if I could pull auto attack? That's not gonna happen though. Or maybe even dual artifact equip, which, by the way, if you want to know the best method to getting as much drops as possible, get yourself a Rhizo. I know I'm completely dissing on the Avatar system by saying that it's, almost impossible to get Avatar because of how difficult it is to get a Divine, and then you have to sacrifice that Divine just for the Avatar, which usually isn't even worth it. Unless it's like such a bad Divine that it just does not enough damage to be on your team. Even then, though, those lower map Divines, I don't think they're nearly as good as the higher map. Which, if you think about it, that's absolutely terrible because the base Rian luck was like 0.3. If lower map Divines are worse, it could be plus 0.1. I mean, that's just absolutely terrible. Absolutely dogging on people's luck, and I think it just ruins a lot of the game for a lot of players. Which is why I think, the Divine system should be reworked. Maybe multiple secrets, because secrets aren't nearly as hard to pull. I mean, there's a secret pity potion, which most players don't even use because they have max opens. But max opens are only really good if you have a lot of inventory space, which again goes back to Divines being so hard to pull. You need to have a lot of inventory space to pull so many units at once to have a higher chance of getting Divines. In order to get a lot of inventory space, you have to buy the inventory game passes, and that's just, sucky. And then, you need the luck game passes, of course, and then you need to waste more time, probably even more Robux getting a extra equip extra equip game pass. And then you need to get a lucky team, which takes even more time. And then if you want to increase your chances even more, you have to limit break all those lucky units to get a plus 0.6 luck, I think. Let me see. Okay, plus 1. Plus 1 luck on each unit, which, that's great, don't get me wrong. But having to actually do that, dude, it takes so much time. For the average player, 10 days. With the event, probably 3 or 4 days. I mean, if you're sitting in there non-stop just for one limit broken unit, which I mean technically you could do 2 at a time, but still, and that barely increases your odds of getting divine. Next, you want to get artifact of luck, which again you have to do the infinity tower and dungeons to level it up for it to actually be really worth it. And then after that, you have to I think I don't know what it's called, evolve the artifact or something, because for some reason it's got a level cap, and you gotta just continue to evolve it and waste more fragments to level it up even more. It's an absolute waste of fragments for that. And then, if you happen to get a Rian, I mean, if you're so lucky as to get a Rian, then you have to sacrifice it, and then you have to do Infinity Tower to get the level up stuff for it to be, worth it to, like, actually use it. And then, after that, you have to get super lucky boost at that. You don't want to use regular lucky boost. You gotta use super lucky boost to actually have a really good chance at it. And even then, the odds of you getting divine are so low that it's excruciatingly painful for, the average player. I mean, I heard my friend say this earlier, and I completely agree with him. Avatars are basically for YouTubers only. I mean, because YouTubers are putting in a lot more effort to make the content than most of the players. Sorry for my absolute lack of English right there, but they have to put a lot more effort in than the average player, because of pushing out content and stuff that it's actually worth it to watch. So I mean, it's also kind of locked behind whether or not you're a YouTuber. It's not you don't have to be a YouTuber to get an avatar. Don't get me wrong, but it does help a ton because you're more motivated, and stuff like that. And then also YouTubers get paid for pushing out content, so they have an even higher chance of getting divines after that, because they can spend more money and put more money into this game. So yeah, I mean, being a YouTuber does kind of help with the whole getting avatars thing, which is why I agree with my friends saying that avatars are kind of locked behind a YouTuber wall. I mean, it's kind of true. Now, I think the best way to revise the avatar system would be to make it use, 4 or 5 secrets from that map. Keep the current avatars, maybe change the looks of them to fit the secrets instead of divines, but make it easier for the free-to-play players. I mean, it's not impossible to pull a secret as a free-to-play. I've done it before. It's really not hard. I've done it on a Noob to Pro account, pretty early on, without events. It's not terribly difficult, which is why I suggest that they should do that instead of, the Divines thing. Which, obviously this video has to get like 1,000,000 views, and then, people just have to, share it with TheBoss, because that would make him listen and make it easier for free-to-play players and even pay-to-win players, because, we need help too. I've got 2 avatars. That's it. I've got every secret in the game and only 2 avatars. I mean, that just shows the difference between secrets and divines, and the fact that avatars don't even give that big of a boost, especially early on. Like, even now, another thing I've noticed, if you have, the Rhizo avatar, where he does your drops boost, I'm pretty sure, hold on, we can test it right here. Yes, it does not stack with the event, so it's not going to be times 15 with a times 5 drops event, it's going to be times 3 still. That's if you have it at my level. But I mean, even then, it's not nearly as worth it as some other things. Like, if you get a Rhizo, if you only have one Rhizo, I highly suggest using him, not sacrificing him. Because, I mean, okay, one, sacrificing him isn't going to do you really any good, because it's not going to help you get another one, especially because it's just drops and damage. Rian may be different, because, it's a luck boost, but then you also have to do Infinity Tower, sorry, to level it up. Which Infinity Tower is even better if you have Rhizo, so you kind of need Rhizo to make Rian good. It's oh my gosh, it's absolutely terrible. I think the Avatar system should just be completely rethought. Honestly, I'm not complaining on my behalf. I'm complaining on other people's behalf. Like, I'm perfectly fine getting divines. I can do it pretty easily. I think. I'd say that, but it's not that difficult. And then making them into avatars again, not that difficult. There's the clone machine for a reason, which I didn't think of when I got the newest divine. But that's not important because the whole point of this video is saying that avatars need to be reworked. They need to either be buffed significantly or need to be easier to get. And if they are made easier to get, then the people who already have avatars should get some sort of compensation, like maybe free level ups because of the divine that we spent on it instead of secrets. If they make it secrets, it's just a thought I had. I think it would make sense. Anyways, this is gonna be around the end of the video. Do I said if you made it this far. Not a lot of my content is like this, just dissing the boss. But I have to say, I feel like it was kind of necessary for this. But, if you enjoyed this, please do consider subscribing. It may help you out a ton, who knows. But it helps me out a ton. That's what I know. And I would really appreciate it. Anyways, yeah, subscribe. Comment if I missed anything on avatars. I know I probably missed, like, one small detail. I actually, I might not have. But, comment if I should, just straight up diss anything else new. Like, maybe the Infinity Tower, which I don't see a reason to diss. It's actually pretty reasonable. But yeah, if you have anything else I should diss completely, just go all out on. Gonna go a little harder than I did on avatars. But yeah, how pay to win this game is, just comment it. I'll probably do it. And like the video because it helps me out a ton, and hopefully I will see you in the next